Yes, people, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I offer to you whatever suits your time zone. I hope everybody is doing great and keeping safe. We will wait and see if the FA will call up the game or maybe go ahead with it. Whatever happens, we're here for it. But whatever decision they make, we hope that they put people's safety first because safety comes first, and it's important for the general populations and not just the footballers themselves, because stadiums are always packed with thousands of people. Some of which I don't know whether it's required to be vaccinated before you get into the stadium. So whatever it is, hopefully the FA makes the right decision. Yeah, so I'm going to be talking to you, and please, if you're in the chat, just let me know if you can hear me. I will continue talking with you to see if somebody gets the chance to jump in and have a debate with me. That is, if the game goes on, or talk about whatever the situation is. And I'm going to put the link in the chat in case anybody has the time to join in. I heard from my friend Stav that Reece James and also Jorginho have joined the list of people who now has COVID-19. I hope that's not the case. Yeah, it's an outbreak for almost, I think, nearly 6 games now, or 7 has been cancelled so far. So if Jorginho and Reece James, if they have joined the list of those who contracted the virus, the deadly virus, as rumored, then I think it only makes sense for it to be called off, because it's not nice. It's not a good thing. We have to try the best we can to, keep it under control so even more people don't get infected. So here I'm going to put the link in the chat. So if anybody has time and wants to join the conversation and join the panel, so to speak, you're welcome to do so. So while we wait, I will be looking at the probable lineup that I have here. And that is for the app I use. The app is called Footballmabia. They're not paying me anything. I just like it, and it makes the streaming process easier for me. So I prefer to use it. It makes, like I said, the presentation very seamless for me. So, yeah, and let me go ahead and welcome Sid in the house so that we can have this conversation. Hi, Sid. How you doing today, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard from one of my friends, Stav, who said he heard that Reece James and what's his name, Jorginho, have both contracted COVID-19, but I don't think it's true. I'm seeing the lineup that Bobby Fairview has shown us here. Is showing us here. Okay, I can also see it on the screen. Yeah. So yeah, it says. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that it's really getting tough out there, man. Because Chelsea actually, they're able to name only 6 substitutes for this game. Jorginho and Ruben Loftus-Cheek are completely out of the game, not even on the bench. So I'm not sure. This is just from the newest lineup that just came out. So I'm not sure if it's. I know Tuchel has mentioned in the last conference that they were really fatigued from the last game. So I'm not sure if that has to do anything with that, or if that's just with this Omicron variant of the COVID-19. So
possibly it may have been the virus thing, because I heard from somebody also that Chelsea they did ask the FA to call it off or something like that, but FA doesn't look like they want to do so. So because we're really depleted right now, but good thing we have N'Golo Kante back. With Chalobah, I don't think we'll be able to operate seamlessly like we usually do when Jorginho is available. Let me see if Kovacic is on the bench.
Yeah, Kovacic is on the bench, but the thing, the problem is that as far as the FA is concerned, the threshold for a game to be called off is if you have less than 13 players. That's even including academy players and all of that. So you have to have less than 13 players available before your match can be called off. because that was the same thing that happened to Everton. If you remember our last game, they had about 6 academy players on their substitute bench, and they couldn't get their game called off either. So it's a tough time, and Chelsea is in a very, very, and it's unfortunate because this is happening when we're really in a very bad state form-wise. Yep. Our form is really terrible. And
with the injury situation and
everything happening, you see, when Pulisic is on, when he plays that center forward, he's almost ineffective in games. So I was hoping that Kai Havertz will be back for this game, but I'm not seeing him even on the lineup, even on the bench. He's not anywhere because he had.
Okay. Let's just get into it straight up. Sid. Overall, we have Mendy between the six. Thiago Silva leads the back line. Cezar Azpilicueta to his right. Rudiger to the left. Alonso keeps his place as the left wing back. And Kante, one of the double sixes. Chalobah joins Kante in the midfield. James, his preferred position. And then you have Mount, one of the 2-8s. Ziyech, one of the 2-8s. I wanted that to be like that. And then Pulisic as the false 9, as the number 9 guy there. Let's just phrase it that way. Okay, see, let's start with Pulisic. What do you think of him being the guy there? As much as I love him to play, as much as I love him as an American, I always like to see him on the pitch for Chelsea Football Club. And I've argued before that because he times his runs into the box very well. I think that's a good. That's a good position for him to play because he always, if you can get the ball to him, he's a fine finisher. We all know that. But the last time he played there, to me, he underperformed. If you ask me, I think he wasn't at his best. So what do you think, Sid?
I think Pulisic is not. You can't maximize his strength when he's in the center forward position. That's not his game. He's someone that he can cut in from the right or the left. He's preferably from the right, but he's more effective coming from the right or the left. And if you find out in some games, when we have a very low block, like the Everton game where they just had a low block, it becomes pretty much ineffective because he's someone that needs the spaces to do something. He has to have that space. He has to have that guy running with him that will create that space for him. Maybe take a defender or two and allow him space to operate. And, when that's not there, he struggles mightily in games. That Everton game, there's no reason we shouldn't have won that game, but it's just we're very ineffective in the last third. And then conceding that stupid free kick goal just put a dent on that game. But I don't think Thomas Tuchel, if he has his full squad available, there is no game that he can put Pulisic in that position. It's just a matter of the fact that we don't have anyone right now. Because if you're looking at the bench, the only slightly offensive guy on the bench is just Kovacic, Barkley, and Saul. And none of them are even like strikers. They're all, attacking midfielders, but that's the best we have. So in the absence of Lukaku, in the absence of Kai Havertz, in the absence of Timo Werner, Pulisic becomes the next person there. But left for me, I would prefer Mount even on that position compared to Pulisic. But I can understand putting Mount there because defensively Mount is better compared to Pulisic. So I know that's why Mount is the one on that right side of the attacking three.
Yeah, here's the thing. Even Kai is also not on the bench today. So something is definitely serious here. And to have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 subs on the bench, why didn't the FA call it off? This is an outbreak already, and it can only get worse. Because you can't tell if somebody contracted the virus. You can't tell immediately because you don't know if some of the players on the pitch have it. So it doesn't look like the FA is doing enough to bring the situation under control because if they don't, if they don't tackle it very well, it can only get worse. But that's, by the way, let's talk about the lineup now. Okay, coming to the 2-8s. And before I continue, I would have said if we had Kai available, I'd prefer him starting as a false 9, while Pulisic plays as one of the 2-8s. I think he does better when it is like that. So, what do you think about the 2-8s there, Sid?
I think it's good compared to what we have on the bench, because the other option, we really don't have that much option. I was thinking maybe instead of Chalobah, maybe Kovacic would have come in, but I don't know his physical state. He's been out for a long time through injury and then COVID-19. So
actually, I'm talking about the 2-8s.
Oh,
where we have Ziyech and Mount.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because we don't have it. I'm looking at that compared to what we have on the bench. Okay.
With
Ziyech and Mount, yes, I get it, but there's nobody else on the bench. I'm doing the analysis based on who we have on the bench, not like the full Chelsea squad, because right now we don't have our squad available. So those are the best guys. Those are the best guys you could put there. You can put Kovacic there. That's not his position. You cannot put. Saul has been very disappointing in all his games. So compared to the guys we have on the bench, you can't really put anybody in there but those two guys.
Yeah, that was why I said if we had Kai on the bench, I would rather him play false 9 and Pulisic being one of the 2-8s. And
that would be a no-brainer. That would be a no-brainer if Kai was there.
Yeah, Pulisic does better as one of the 2-8s there, and not really as the false 9 guy there. He's played there on occasions for Chelsea and hasn't done really well. But that's, by the way, let's look at the double pivot seat. We have Kante there and Chalobah there. And if you look at the midfield of our opponents, they have some experienced heads there. The guys who have played that game for quite some time. Right. And they are really loaded in that section. They have Moutinho, they have Neves, they have Docker. So, yeah, I know Kante, his experience, that's his specialty, breaking up plays, winning second balls. But Chalobah hasn't played there that much for me.
No, he hasn't.
So don't you think would have been better of, Kovacic, I think, is fit enough to play. I don't know why he's not starting. Yeah, but maybe he's just playing it safe. Tuchel is just playing it safe at this point because we're really depleted. So
that's what I'm saying. Without the benefit of having inside knowledge, we can't really say, because it's a no-brainer for Kovacic to play with Kante if he's fully fit and available. But for him to be on the bench and not starting, that tells me that, having taken a look at him in training, that Thomas Tuchel is not very confident with his level of fitness. Because remember, he's been out for a long time. And not just from his, he had that injury. And then when he came back from the injury, he had COVID-19 and he had to isolate from the squad. So, and from everything I've read, sometimes the effect of COVID-19 on these players lingers even after they've returned to training. So the coach must have taken a look at him and said, okay, you know what? I'd rather have a fully fit Chalobah in there than a half-fit Kovacic. So, but on paper, it doesn't make sense. Just looking at it, it doesn't make sense to have Chalobah there. But I'm sure Tuchel is a very smart guy. I'm sure there must be a reason why he has Chalobah there instead of Kovacic. And I'm thinking if there's anything, it has to be based on their current fitness, physics.
Yeah, I mean, fitness. The truth is, the truth is, there isn't really that much. That is too much to debate here, because we're practically the best of what we have that's available to us are on the pitch. So what are we going to argue about? So, but let me ask this question, Felicia. By the way, welcome to the stream. Always nice to have you around. I'm glad you found time to join us. So coming to you again, Sid, how do you think those two will operate? Because I saw a very important comment. There's a very important comment here on the stream by MCIG. Something he said, Chalobah needs to keep the ball on the ground and we will be fine. And that's where that argument that it is not his specialty to play in that position, probably
Yeah, but
defensively, he would do well for us. But in terms of progressing the ball, the way we used to play, I think we'll have a problem in that aspect today.
I mean, he can keep the ball if he can get the ball, because if you're looking at the guys we're playing Wolves, and Wolves, they're at home. Wolves are a very compact team. They don't play expansive football. I mean, the closest they get to like one all out attacking is like if Adama Traore just gets the ball and just goes on those his runs. But if you watch our Wolves, their games are really tight. I think they haven't scored more than one goal in the last how many matches, 7 matches or something like that, and they've won a few games. So they're a very compact team. So someone like Kovacic, someone like Chalobah, being that that's not his natural position, yes, he might do okay, but when the heat gets on, when the push comes to shove, he might make some, very fatal mistakes, because that's not his natural position. You have to play that position and play consistently for a while to have the confidence to do the right things when the heat is on. And you better believe that Wolves are going to put the heat on, because they are at home. Their supporters are going to be the 12th man that they need, pushing them on. So
yeah, and again, if you look at it, we don't even have Christensen on the bench. So why is this game still? Why are we still moving on with this game? So, but that's, by the way, I think it's important that we address, answer the question why this game is still going on. I think because Christensen is not on the bench. If it's not, then definitely he might have contracted COVID too. Bobby, welcome to the stream. I'll soon come to you. Felicia, what do you think about the situation? We have quite a lot of players out with COVID-19. That's the ones we know. Kai isn't on the bench. What's his name? Andreas Christensen is where is he? Is he on the bench? No, he's not anywhere there. So, what do you think about the FA moving on with the game? Because I heard Chelsea did put in a request for the game to be called off.
Well, in my opinion, it's totally and absolutely unfair. I mean, in terms of I'll give an example. Look at the Manchester games. They have postponed, I think, 2 games already, or 3, if I'm not wrong. So why was our request turned down? I mean, the COVID outbreak is real. It's actually affecting our squad. We're suffering it. We've been seeing how we've been failing to score. And look at the example of the game we played last time. I mean, we dominated the whole game on almost 23 attempted shots, and only one of them was able to be finished to become a goal.
Right.
I mean, we're struggling. It's really hard. And the fact that the Premier League is not postponing our matches, we have to be creative about it. And I feel like Thomas Tuchel did the best what he had. He had to do the best with the squad he had. I mean, if he has to put certain players to play different roles for us to give better results, it is what it is. We have to do it. But at the same time, introducing new roles to players, it's kind of a challenge. You're not used to playing a certain role, like for instance, Chalobah. Now he has to play in the midfield. I mean, even looking at our substitutions, it's really hard. I'm actually scared. I mean, Wolves are a very strong team. Look at how they played against Liverpool. Man City were able to only get a goal. Liverpool a goal. I mean, it's really, really hard on us. But at the end of the day, we still have to stay positive and move forward with how we play this game. At the same time, it's going to be a challenge. I'm going to admit it's going to be a very, very tough challenge.
Yeah, it is going to be seriously challenging for us to come out on top in this game, because the question is, why are we still moving ahead with this game? And I'm just going to go straight to Bobby, who I believe will have more information about the situation and will update us. Bobby, over to you. What is going on? And I saw you. We've looked at your comment in the chat that says the agenda against Chelsea Football Club is clear. So, Bobby, please go ahead.
Honestly, Coach, in a way, it was good you didn't start with me, because I'm so livid that I'm really reining myself in, and out of respect for your stream, I won't totally say what's on my mind. because I don't want anyone banned or anything for bad content. But this is more than infuriating. And why I say this, it's twofold. I'm angry at the FA and I'm slightly angry at the club. But I'll start with the FA. The agenda against Chelsea is absolutely clear. They talk of a health and safety reason. Well, you can't get more health and safety than the welfare of the players. These are human beings. They're not machines. You're forcing people to feel the team of players either coming back from injury unfit, and just as Thomas Tuchel has just said, are risking even greater injury. I'm talking of Kante and Chalobah, and players that are already injured. I mean, it is insane what's going on. If this was Liverpool, all they'll need to have is Mo Salah positive with COVID and their game will be cancelled. I mean, that's the side of it that infuriates me. The fact that Chelsea put in a request to the FA when they had a further positive last night that, look, can we postpone this game? And the FA declined it this morning. To me, it's absolutely clear. Where I am a bit angry at the club is, look, I have said on numerous occasions for months, this sort of willy-nilly, trigger-happy, send players on loan, get rid of players, this madness that Chelsea do. Okay, there may be financial motivations behind it, but the insanity is that Chelsea is the only club in Europe that sends out its best youth players, academy graduates on loan, and puts the lesser players available for the first team squad to pick from. It's just crazy, absolutely crazy. And to make it even more mind-blowing, we have an under-23 squad that we've kept in some ridiculous bubble, a bubble that makes no sense when we are testing by the minute every 5 minutes. There's no point of having a bubble. A game like this, we should be talking about, since we have to go to the Alamo and dip from the bottom of the barrel, we should be having people like Lewis Baker available, people like Mbayamba available, just to be able to field the proper team. Because right now, we don't really have any substitutions. Well, we got 4 people on the bench. It's crazy.
6.
Even that in itself is a health and safety risk. I think
it's not even about having about 6 people on the bench. It's not balanced. It's not balanced. This is just. I mean, we just literally all we're on the bench is just.
Coach, please, can I just say one more thing? I mean,
go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
Chelsea.
Just speak your mind, man.
We're just talking Chelsea, but I'm trying to go a bit broad church here.
Yes, you should.
The game between Leeds and Arsenal yesterday was an absolute farce. It was a joke. It was in no way, shape, or form a level playing field, and it should have been postponed.
Exactly. So
we are dealing with a situation where the Premier League's integrity has been compromised by COVID. Why not just acknowledge it, shut down for 2 weeks because of this is a unique situation for player welfare reasons, and to allow them to recover and reset? If you like, start again by Boxing Day, although that's not 2 weeks away anymore. January.
Well, I think
start again in January. I mean, it's just sensible. What's going on now is oh gosh, it's
it is crazy. Go ahead, say what you want to say.
No, I can understand Bobby's frustration, and I feel that too. But the mistake we're making here is that we're coming at it from the perspective that the FA cares about Chelsea as a team. Football is about money, big money. And when I'm talking about money, big contracts. When the Premiership was re-signed, when NBC networks got hold of the rights to show Chelsea the Premiership in the US here, I think the first contract was about $500 million or something. Over years, it's ballooned to billions of dollars. So these guys have contractual obligations, and these networks, they've put these time slots months and months in advance dedicated to this thing. So it's all about money. It's not about whether Chelsea, they want to, because like you said, if you look at the Leeds game yesterday against Arsenal, Leeds had kids on the bench. They literally had the only guy that
and like Bobby said, it wasn't a level playing field.
It wasn't a level playing field. It wasn't a level playing field. The guy that came in when they had an injury, the guy that came in is the only one on their bench that had any Premier League experience. So the rest of the guys that they had were all kids. Arsenal, on the Arsenal bench, what's his name? This is their number 10. He's the youngest guy on the Arsenal bench. But if he was on Leeds, he'll be their oldest substitute.
Oh my gosh.
So that tells you how bad the situation is. But as far as the FA is concerned, this is about money. This is about fulfilling contractual obligations, because these networks they will come for you. They will want some money back. They will fight. They don't care about COVID. They just want to entertain people, and it's all about money. So
here's the thing. Here's my argument here. That begs the question: do they really care about the general population? Because the truth is, if they don't get it under control, of which it's clear to us now, they don't really know what they're doing. They don't even have a process in place to ensure that the players are safe. Now, it will most definitely help spread it to the general population, because football.
All they are trying to do is ride it until the wheel falls off.
Yes, but I get your point. But the question is,
if the wheel doesn't fall off, let's keep going, because it's about big business. It's about money. Because
I get your point.
Their rule states that as long as you have 13 players available, your match can be called off. Chelsea,
it is absolute nonsense.
It's madness. It's madness, but
listen,
I mean, that's what capitalism does to us. It's all about money here.
Let me say something now. Football can be a super spreader. You have thousands of people coming to watch it. Right. And it just takes something like this, faster than the snap of a finger like this, for it to go from a player who's on the pitch or some fan who's on the stands to spread it to other people. But it doesn't look like the FA cares. So I don't think we should even be talking about the lineup. We should be talking about the safety of the players, and also safety of the fans who will come to the stadium to watch the ball. And are the FA, are they really doing anything to get the situation under control? It doesn't look like it. I'm really pissed right now. I don't even know how to start, talking about the situation, because if I should speak my mind away, speak the words that are coming into my head, like Bobby said, it's not going to be good for the channel, but I'll try and control myself, because it's quite annoying. And sorry, Sid, the situation, the lead situation that you brought up, it's annoying. It pissed me off mainly. So if anybody has anything to say, please just go ahead.
Coach, it's really, really sad. It's so sad that we know this is about money. We know that the Premier League as a product has been able to become global because it doesn't stop. It plays right through Christmas, and, it's quite unique in that way. And the challenge of, that's why they've resisted having a break. But
yes,
honestly, if you are humane at all, you should, because of this unique situation, be considering the fact that, look, we're now in a position where players' careers are under threat. People are playing with injury. On this one occasion, let's make it the exception. The world will understand if the Premier League takes a pause for 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
It's not an unreasonable thing to do. That's what is so upsetting. And, the idea that they can, do it for some clubs. Oh, this club, no, we won't do it for this club. Oh, it'll be good. It's probably going to make more viewing if it looks like they're going to drop points. All this sort of greedy, ruthless, unsympathetic thinking is what really gets me. I think it's cruel. I think it's unethical. And I think that if any player has an injury that keeps them away from being able to ply their trade, because this is their trade, for months and months on end,
Right.
I hope there is a way they can sue the FA. You know, it's something that's just come to my mind.
Yeah.
I've never heard of anything like this before, but I think if there's any lawyer out there who is smart and if it's possible, wants to make some money, I think they should go for it, and they would get the support of a lot of the fan base.
They will definitely, because it doesn't look like they care about the safety of the players. All they care is money, and like MCM IG says there, money dictates everything. And in the case of the FA, it is absolutely true. So, see, coming back to you, let me put it this way, because it doesn't just end on the football pitch or within the fences of the stadium. If it spreads from the players to the fans on the stands, definitely the general population will be affected. So, does it look like the FA cares at all what happens? Do you think they care at all that this can lead to the whole country being shut down entirely?
You know, they care to the extent that they feel like they are doing some public service, but actually providing entertainment in this period. Because, as you see, as Bobby said earlier, there has been a push for years now for the Premiership to have a break during this Christmas period, but they wouldn't do that because in this period, they were actually the only leagues that will be on show all over the world. The Spanish league, the Liga Serie A, all these guys shut down typically for the Christmas break, but the Premier League doesn't do that. So it's quite unfortunate, but to my point earlier, it's just all about big business. Because if you look at, even extending it beyond the Premiership, right now UEFA is in talks with the South American League to have a mini League of Nations, another competition that will come in, in the summertime when this club, just because they want to fight off FIFA, because FIFA want to do a biennial World Cup. So it just goes about these guys, their interest is not really our interest. We as fans, we want to see a good product. We want to see a good entertaining game. We want to see, support our team to win. But they see from a different perspective. To them, success is putting that product on the air. To them, success is making more money. To them, success is not shutting down. So, and it's all about, let's ride this wheel. Let's ride this bus until the wheel falls off. And that's what they are doing. Because right now, if you look at it, like you said, what can be a better transmitter than a football pitch, with thousands of fans yelling and screaming at every ball. So, if you really think about it, whether you say, okay, even if you say, you want to show a proof of vaccination, or you have to test negative before you come into the field. Sometimes COVID, you don't even realize you have it. It could be dormant in your body for some days, So to me, it's a farce, because you have all these guys, they are yelling at the top of their voice, they are singing, they are very close to each other. So that's even a super spreader event. But have you noticed that right now, even keeping fans out of the field is not even part of the discussion. It's about how do you mitigate it, because they realize that, the product that they put out the last time when there were no fans, it's not comparable to when there are fans in there. So now everything they are talking about, there's no plan of having fans out. So that tells you all you need to know, whether they really care about people or is it about the economics of the game for them. So it's unfortunate. But that's really where we are.
Bobby and Felicia, you both heard. I know you heard my question. I mean, do they care at all about the safety of the public, or just? I mean, even the government should look at it and say, no, this is not going to help us. Because the British government, I believe, wouldn't want the situation, because the general population, they're also suffering. The COVID cases are going up again. So now having sports events where you have thousands of people on the stands watching and see the highlight screaming with their mouths open, no masks on, and no social distancing. It's a super spreader event.
You know,
Wow. Can the British government do something about it? Go ahead, Bobby.
Coach, I was on a stream yesterday where this came up, and there was someone talking about the severity of this Omicron variant and that sort of thing. And I know there is a political angle to all of this, and the issue of lockdown or not, the issue of restricting people, the issue of vaccination. These are wider points that I kind of avoid because there's a complexity in that answer. But in view of football as it stands in this isolated instance, what I think should be a focus is the regulations we have in place for people, no matter if it's severe or not, that test positive, in that they have to isolate for 10 days. Now, when you have a lot of people isolating, it knocks out your service. It knocks out your workforce. It's not just football being affected by this. Hospitals, all sorts of other things are affected by the regulation of isolation. And is this regulation that is forcing football teams to play unnecessarily very young players and to play injured players? And two things come out of this. One, the health and safety to the injured players being forced to play. And two, the integrity of the competition of the Premier League. And as such, it is only common sense for the FA to say, look, we're in a situation here. Let's take a break. Let's step back. Let's let clubs recover as much as is reasonably possible and then re-evaluate the rules. Do we need to allow clubs to have bigger squads beyond the 25-man squad? Do we need to allow more substitutions? Do you see what I'm saying? Everything is subject to change in this unique situation, and that should be our point of argument. The issue of super spreading and that they are issues, but they start walking into the government regulation and laws arena, which we can't really control. I think it's out of the realm of sort of the control of football fans in terms of our opinions. We can have our opinions, of course. We're free human beings, but in terms of what can immediately be done as far as the game is concerned, is suspension, just for a short time. That's all.
I mean, look at the games we're having. We're currently facing Wolves. We're supposed to be facing Aston Villa next, and Aston Villa's game was postponed due to the fact of the outbreak of COVID cases in the squad. So I was thinking, okay, we're facing Aston Villa on the 26th in 10 days, in 8 days, sorry, and they're supposed to be isolating for 10 days. Now, it doesn't even make sense. I mean, it's so controversial. Because how will we be playing them in 8 days and they're supposed to be isolating for 10 days? They're not postponing our matches. Look at our substitutions. I mean, it just feels like it's the perfect story of the downfall of Chelsea. I mean, it's just an agenda, but I feel like it's just so unfair. And at the moment, we are really struggling. Look at how Leeds played yesterday. I mean, I watched that game and I was just, Arsenal are literally behind us, and Arsenal, bro, Arsenal. So we really need to do something. And the fact that our request was turned down, it speaks volumes about what is.
Let me ask this question. Sorry, go ahead, Felicia, if you're not done.
Sorry.
Go ahead if you're not done. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh yeah. It's okay. There was supposed to be a match. There's supposed to be a meeting on Monday. There's supposed to be a meeting tomorrow, whereby all the coaches meeting, all the captains are meeting with the Premier League. And I'm like, okay, this should be where the actual suspension of all the matches happens, because at the moment, it doesn't even make sense. Let them close the stadiums if they have to. We can look at what happened during 2020 lockdown all over the world. We were watching the games at home and the players were okay. I mean, look at how, the way you mentioned the fact that fans are there, they're shouting. I mean, look at how Everton was shouting when they had that draw. They were shouting as though they won, singing, chanting. And I was just thinking, if I was there, of course, I'd be angry. But the fact that the COVID situation going on, I smell a lockdown. A lockdown is literally coming. And I've heard rumors probably during the December 25th, around that time, there might be a lockdown, but I'm not sure. But it's really
there might be, because in the USA, I think the NFL, I think they will stop or they will call off games for a while, I think. And okay, now, and the question is now, what if after Monday they say, okay, oh yeah, you know what? We've decided to call off the Premier, to take a break for a while, to get the situation under control. What happens? Bobby, you get my question now.
I do get your question. Though it will raise many questions. It'll start raising questions of the integrity of the games that have been played this December period. And
Exactly.
I think there are some clubs with a legitimate case to be answered. Leeds is certainly one of them. And certainly we are going to be another. But, nobody, they all love to hate Chelsea. They all love to create problems for Chelsea. So I'm not expecting them to listen to anything when it comes to us. But there are other clubs involved. And I think as a product, the standard of the product of the Premier League has completely been compromised, by COVID.
Yeah.
They even have a get out of jail card to call for a pause.
Yeah.
But, as the other guy was saying, money is driving them. They want to keep squeezing this until the last drop is out of its veins. And that's what they're doing. And that's where the ethical side of this comes in. I just think it's more than appalling. I'm disgusted, to be honest. I really am, because I felt humanity trumps everything.
I think my only fear is that, they say you don't win the league in December, but you can also lose it in December. I just hope for our sake that because unfortunately for Chelsea, it came as a really bad time because we're on a poor run of form. I think the last game that Chelsea really played well in the Premiership was the game against Leicester City. After that game, it's been topsy-turvy for us. We drew the game at Man City, with Man United. We barely squeezed by Watford. We drew with Everton. So these are, we lost to West Ham. Games that typically we should have won, we were either losing or drawing them. So it came at a really bad time for Chelsea. And this COVID situation would have been a perfect timing for everyone to hit the reset button. Reset, let's take a break, let's go for 2 weeks, sanitize the whole stadium, get players healthy, because they are players, most of them don't have any underlying conditions. So you just know that they have COVID because you test them regularly. Because it's not like they are exhibiting any symptoms, because they are healthy young people. So I was thinking that, okay, with this whole COVID outbreak, we'll all get a pause, we'll get players back, get people fit, and then when the league starts back in January, it will be a level playing field. But that was just common sense. But I know that in the game of economics, common sense doesn't always come out on top, because it's all about the Benjamins, like they say.
Yeah, Bobby did mention something about the quality of the product that they offering those that are paying them the money. The quality is practically not up to 40% or 50% at this point, or if it is 50, it's just a little above 50. Then that's an excuse for you to say, hey, we got to take a break here. Bring the product, make it the quality it should be for the people that we're presenting it to. It just seemed as if they don't use their heads in the FA, or they're just ignorant of the situation.
You just have to watch the Leeds game against Arsenal yesterday to just know how unfair that situation was. Because at a point, I'm just like, why are these people doing this? Leeds literally had nobody with Premier League experience on their bench. Yeah, the guy I was looking for his name earlier was Emil Rose Smith. He was the youngest guy.
Imagine Arteta resting him.
Yes, he actually came in the game and he scored the 4th goal, but he was the youngest guy on the Arsenal bench. But if he was on the Leeds team, he'll be the oldest guy there.
Oh my God!
Because they were forced to have 16-year-olds on their bench. They had nobody. The substitutions they made, and made worse by the fact that the Premiership is the only league that only allows 3 substitutions. So you end up being forced to use the same guys.
Yeah.
When Leeds made their substitution, they actually took up the teenager that they brought in the first half when they had an injury. They had to take him off again in the second half because they had no other person with Premier League experience to bring in. So
it was a complete farce.
It was madness.
Yeah,
it was madness.
Well,
that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Bobby.
No, I was. I'm sorry to cut you short. I'm just rushing in because I have to go. I've got someone knocking on my door. It was a complete farce. I mean, I was screaming about this, and I'm not even a Leeds fan. I can't stand it. Most of these clubs, I can't stand them. I'm so blue Chelsea that I'm really blinkered that way. But I looked at this and I just said, no, this is beyond ridiculous. And the fact that it was allowed to go on is a disgrace. Guys, look, I'm sorry I have to leave. It's a privilege as always, Coach. 2 other members of the panel, sorry if I've forgotten your names, but thank you for having me. And I really look forward to talking to you both, all of you again at some other point. Please, I have to run.
Always a pleasure, Bobby. Always a pleasure. And I look forward to having you on for the next show. And hopefully everybody will be back healthy. Thank you very much, Bobby.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Now, let's come back. Let's bring it back to the game because we're all very annoyed right now and emotional at the same time. Emotions are running high. So, looking at the midfield, that's where I'm really concerned because if you look on the side of Wolves, the experience they have in that midfield, and again, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're gonna overload inexperienced players. Except for Kante, but Kante cannot he's a tree that cannot make a forest in this situation. What do you think will happen?
I honestly think it's going to be a tough one. Is it for me or Sydney?
No,
go ahead. Go ahead. Sid can comment.
I think it's going to be a tough one. I mean, look at how Reece James played when he was put in the pivot position in the number 6. He has the experience, yes, but he struggled because that's not where he's used to. But then at the end of the day, we are at crisis, to be honest. It's really sad what's going on. I just wish they postponed this game for any reason whatsoever, whatever reason they're going to give the players. Okay, fine. Now look at the example of Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz tested negative on Saturday. Then today he's positive. Now he trained with the players when he tested negative, and now he's
positive. Is it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll bring it back to you. That is the argument, and Sid also did highlight that COVID is not something that when you're contracted, it shows instantly. Test will be able to dictate it. At that point, it can lay dormant in you, in that individual for a few days before you'd be able to detect it. So why do they reason? How do I phrase it and not come across as insulting to them? Just go ahead, Felicia, please.
I mean, it's just so sad. How many people did he have contact with? Just think about. Of course, he was not training with a mask on. It's not possible. It's gonna be so tiresome in terms of playing. Even when you go to the gym, if you're wearing a mask, they advise you to remove your mask while you're training, and then after you're done, put on your mask. But then at the end of the day, so many players have been exposed. Only God knows how many players will test positive next. Now, the problem is they're not postponing any of our games. Why? What is the agenda? I mean, of course, we are the champions of Europe. Is it that they want us to go so low? They want us to go so, in terms of the Premier League, we're eyeing the title. But as it's going right now, it's looking so foggy. It's looking like we're not even close to it. All the teams that are having low cases of COVID. I mean, in terms of Wolves, for example, they are one of the teams that have ensured that almost all their players have taken the jab. And I think it's about only a few of them who don't have the jab, who've not taken the COVID vaccine. But at the end of the day, it's an individual choice, and you cannot force players to do it. Tuchel mentioned in a conference that it doesn't matter what they do. It's at the end of the day, it's a personal choice, and it's really affecting us, the fans, the players. Now we have to struggle in this game. I feel we're going to struggle. Wolves are very intense team. They mark one-on-one players. They're so defensive. It's going to be a struggle, to be honest. I'm really scared, but fingers crossed. You have to support your team through thick and thin. But it's really sad what's going on, to be honest.
Yeah, here's the thing again. I'm vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated, and I have no argument against it because I've done, But then again, people must understand, vaccination, what it does is that it makes the severity of the virus less harmful to you than it will be if you're not vaccinated. So it's important to get vaccinated. So, I mean, it doesn't matter if the players are all vaccinated at all, but if they will, that would be good. At least their safety and the safety of the people they meet, they sit with. I don't know how else to phrase it because my head, I'm really pissed right now, I must be honest. I'll come back to you, Felicia, so that you can tell people about your channel and how they can find your content. I'm going, Sydney, please keep on a final note, please. What do you think about the whole situation? Let's not even talk about the players on the bench right now, but if you feel like that's what you want to talk about, up to you.
I'm concerned for the game just because, like I said earlier, we haven't been playing well. We haven't been scoring goals. So it's a very concerning time to play against Wolves. Because Wolves, they are playing at home. The Molineux Stadium is a very loud stadium. Wolves, under their new manager, they play very compact. They are compact at the back and the midfield, and they always rely on these fast transitions with either Adama Traore, with Jimenez, because I think he's back now from his suspension. So it's a very concerning game. The only thing that gives me a little bit of hope, is just the fact that Wolves themselves offensively haven't been scoring a lot of goals. A few of their past few games have always.
Yeah, but you must remember that we're Charity FC, aren't we?
So that's the only thing that gives me a little bit of confidence that they themselves, they are not like really the team that scores a very high number of goals. So, but unfortunately for us, we haven't been keeping clean sheets either. We haven't kept a clean sheet in the past 5 games. So, it's really tough, because if the game is going against us, I don't really look at the bench and see anyone that could come in and positively affect the offensive part of the game. So it's I don't really know how to analyze this, because it's one thing to look at the bench and be like, okay, you know what? If the game is going bad, we could go to the bench and get this guy or get that guy. I really don't see anybody in that bench that could do that for us offensively, especially in that last third. Yes, we have guys that could come in and fill the bodies in the middle of the field, but I mean, is this Saul Niguez? He hasn't even found his feet that's going to come in and help us. So, but I mean, as the eternal Chelsea fan, I'm still hoping for a 2-1 Chelsea win. But
exactly.
I'm not saying that with any huge high level of confidence.
Here's the thing. Before I bring it to you, Felicia, we still have like 2 minutes before we round off. I'm not sure we're going to concede today. Mark my word, because we have Kante on the pitch. If he's fully fit, I think he'll be able to, screen our defense very well. He gives them better protection than we've had in the last few games that we played without him. And my concern here is, like I said before, is just the lack of, any player that we don't have a defined register, because we've grown accustomed to playing with a register, which Jorginho is a specialized player in that aspect. Kovacic can also, facilitate the register role quite well, but differently. He progresses the ball better than Jorginho does, and can even progress the ball. He's press resistant. So my problem is just Chalobah. How good is he at keeping the ball, and how good is he at progressing the ball under pressure? Because I think these guys, they are overloaded in the midfield, and that will be a bit of an issue for us. Kante himself, he as good as he is at breaking up opposition play and winning second balls and protecting the defense. In terms of progressing the ball, it's not his, it's not his strongest suit. But anyway, that's by the way. We hope for the best, and apologies for those who did come around to see us, debate the lineup. I mean, there's nothing to debate here. We have the best players, you could argue. Yeah, nothing to debate. We could argue on the pitch, and we just hope for the best for the players. And yeah, go ahead, Felicia. Tell the fans about your channel, how they can find your content. Yeah, over to you.
I mean, maybe just a few words before I go. I mean, in terms of the midfield, of course, Chalobah, in his debut, gave us a goal. He has been playing well. We have to give him that. Accolades where it's due. So I feel like maybe this time when he's called upon to play on this role, he might deliver. We've never seen him play this role, but okay, he has played it, I think, against Watford, if I'm not wrong. But hopefully, I feel like, for instance, in the previous game, Christian Pulisic, I didn't even see him. So I was expecting Kai Havertz to come back, but COVID and the whole situation, we don't have anything we gotta do. But in terms of Kante, he's just coming back from an injury, so I don't think he'll be 100%. But Thomas Tuchel prefers to play Kante at 50% than Saul at 100% or 70%, which is so sad. What does that say about the player? I mean, I feel like Saul was just it's taking too long to adjust. We need him to adjust faster, and we need him to play better. If he's called upon, he should play. Barkley is trying, but come on, we need more. We need to just do better in finishing. Anyway, in terms of my YouTube channel is Footballmabia with Felicia. I do football content, some previews. I have a rant on right now because of the current situation, my preview/review of the Wolverhampton versus Chelsea game. So if you're interested, please check out my channel and subscribe. Leave a comment while you're at it. And follow me on my Twitter at Felicia_C. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Felicia. And people, I will make sure to leave her complete information in the description section once the video is ready. Again, I appreciate you all. MCIG, Steve Chelsea, who again, Just Viola, and Kit, who found time to participate, even though he was at a function, like he said. You guys provide great value to the stream, and I appreciate you all. And hope to see you guys next time. We can only pray for the best. Enjoy the game. See you all. Cheers.